keep it on for at least 2 hours, so you can leave at any time if you have other things to attend to, because
Yeah.
this is just pretty much supposed to be a hangout, and it's live right now. Uh,
Sounds good. Okay.
Welcome everybody to Hangout. I don't know if I should call it Saturday Night Hangouts because I did that years ago, and this is Friday, obviously. But this is, I guess, revival of a hangout. And with me, I got some people who actually did some interviews with me 1 or 2 years ago. Elijah,
Mm.
I don't remember your number. I don't remember Javier's or Elijah's number, but I know it was at least maybe 2020. Both of you did it,
I
maybe.
think mine was 32 or 33. It was one of those two.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't even
mine's
know. Yeah.
was yeah in the 30s too. It was like mid 2020, just like right when COVID was like starting.
Yeah, so it had to be 2020. So yeah, let's first just ask how you guys been? How's your week?
Javier, if you want to go first, you can.
Weeks the same as always. I've been having a really really hard time with this whole situation. So like my last, I want to say last year, every day's kind of been a miserable day. So it's just been really tough. So I can't say I've had a good week. It's just
Yeah.
the regular same old shitty reaction week that I get every every week. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah. But as far as I'm good, I'm living. I got money. I got a job. So I'm just been a work week for me. Just been going to work.
Yeah, and I remember asking you in the comments that you were saying that because I asked you if you still go on a diet, but you don't do the diet. You don't feel like diet really applies to you. It doesn't affect your odor any way, which way.
Yeah, I don't understand. How do I explain it? Like I can't tell if it's working or not. If a diet will work or not. Sometimes I don't eat and I get reactions like, and then sometimes I eat and I get reaction. Like I get reactions all the time. Like kind of doesn't matter whether I eat or not. Because sometimes I would not eat for a day or two and I would still get reactions. So I feel like,
Damn.
well, if I change my diet, then like what difference does it make? I'm still no, I'm not putting any food in my system. I'm still getting reactions. So,
Right.
but I could imagine that changing your diet it might change your microbiome. So I'm not saying that it's completely useless. It's hard to do a diet, especially with the job I have. I can't eat lettuce and vegetables because I'll get
You eat
physically
lettuce and
I'll get tired.
vegetables.
Or like I can't eat. I gotta eat meat. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I cannot cut meat
I
out of
feel
my
you.
diet because I will be physically weak if I do that. By the third day, I'm
You gotta get
already,
some protein.
yeah, I need some protein. So um, yeah, so the diet thing is not that doesn't work for me as far as I could tell.
But going back,
Yeah.
well,
You know what? What was your original question? I'm kind of an
yeah, I was just
airhead.
asking you like how because like this is like a hangout. You could chime in at it. It's not really an interview where I'm going to just talk to you and then talk
Yeah.
to you. Like if anyone wants to ask questions or just
Oh, you
talk
asked how the
talk.
week's been going, so let's hear how Elijah's week been going.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's been good. As far as like reactions and stuff like that, they haven't dictated anything. I mean, um, I've gotten better since the interview. I remember like I was kind of bad from the beginning of all this, and then I've kind of seen the light at the end of the tunnel, but I haven't quite reached it yet. So I've gotten a reduced number of like reactions and stuff like that, but um, I'm not cured by any means, but
Yeah.
I go through life and it's good. I'm also a teacher now, and it's crazy because I remember what a year ago I was like, "Oh, there's no way I'd be able to do this kind of stuff with with what I got going on." But no, it's going well. So I don't know. Every day that goes by, I'm realizing there's a lot of things that are still possible about this condition and stuff like that. Without, I don't know. I'm seeing it in a positive light, and I feel like there's like different stages to this stuff, which we'll get into later. But overall, my week it's been pretty good. Um, Reaction wise, it's been pretty good. But as a teacher, I've had ups and downs. Has nothing to do with the odor or anything like that, or the reactions, but it's got more so to do with kids and
Oh,
behaviors and stuff like that.
yo, what's going on,
Oh,
bro?
what's up?
What's up, man?
Watch out, bro. Watch out.
Yo, what's going on? I haven't talked to you in a minute. How's it going, Bruce?
Man, it's going good, man. I can't complain.
Well, how was your week?
It was pretty good, man. One of my cars died, but other than that,
Oh
just as
shit,
far as just socially and oh
that's crazy. Did you like the person, or were you close to the person?
no, my car,
Oh, I
my
thought you said
car.
cohort. I thought you said a cohort, like
No,
coworker.
car.
Oh, okay, okay, my bad. I misheard that. Oh, because that was crazy. If we were talking about somebody that worked with you and shit. Do you still like work at Walmart, or do you do something
No,
else?
man. I kind of because of this condition, I moved to Amazon because other than like the first like 20-30 minutes of the day, I'm pretty much by myself. And then
Hmm.
the last like 10 minutes, I deal with people. But throughout the day, I'm pretty much by myself. There's no boss there. There's nobody in the van with me. So it makes dealing with this a whole lot easier.
Oh, so your delivery.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay, that's pretty good. I think they make like somewhere like 15, 16 an hour or some shit like that.
like 16, 16.
Yeah, recently like there was some type of union that happened. Does that affect you in any positive way?
No, not the Amazon that I work at. So Amazon, it's when you see the delivery van drive up, it's all separate contracted companies. So I work for a company called Southern Star, but they just deliver Amazon packages. So I don't really work
Oh,
for Amazon itself.
okay. Oh, okay. Because I
That
thought
makes
like you
sense.
could, yeah, I get you. Because I thought you could just be a regular contractor at Amazon. You didn't have to go through like a third party, or
You
you know
can
what I mean?
you can do that too. You can do
Yeah.
that too. That's Amazon Flex.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is the reason why you went into this other company you get like benefits or something, or there's some
No,
type
it's
of
just that's just how you deliver for Amazon. So Amazon, like I said, they don't have any of their own drivers. The
right?
companies buy the Amazon vans, like the branded vans, and they handle everything through Amazon, but you don't actually work for Amazon, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So like I
yeah.
walk around with an Amazon vest, I pull up in an Amazon van, but I work for a company called Southern Star.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
I know it's
yeah.
weird.
No, because if you know, it's funny. I was really thinking about doing that delivery stuff for Amazon because when I used to work as a security guard, like I was only making like $9 or like $10 an hour, and I was trying to find some way
It's not
to
enough.
get yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that was my thing. I wanted to apply and stuff, but it didn't work out so well. But I guess so with Elijah, last time I spoke to you, you were still in college. Bruce, you were also doing MMA. I want to ask about that later too. And Javier, you still at the same job,
Yeah.
but I guess I mean I know you said within your job it's like you only have to work like 7 days for one week and then you have another week off.
Yeah,
Um,
that was yeah. That's the operator position. But I don't have that position right now. So I'm
Oh,
working.
so something changed within your career as well, or is it?
Yeah, I'm working. It's the same job, but I'm working 5 days a week, and I only have the weekends off.
Oh, okay.
I want that
So,
other position, but there hasn't been an opening.
so
So,
did you get like what's the word I want to demoted or something like that?
no. What happened was I was gonna, I was gonna keep that position, but see, I was a relief operator. So whenever operators leave for vacation or if they retire or anything, I would cover their old shift. But um, they were gonna give me that position, but I was like nervous about it. Then I was getting reactions from some of the coworkers there, so I was like, wasn't confident about that. So I said no to that position, and they gave it to somebody else. So uh, basically, I just went back to doing maintenance work, and
Mm.
yeah, but it's still the same. That's the same place and stuff. It's and now that I have more experience, if another position does open up, I will take it immediately.
Yeah. So I
But there's
mean,
something interesting about that. We're related to the odor that it makes my job kind of difficult and weird. And then I'm sure like the my supervisors and all that are aware of the situation, so it makes it so awkward and so weird, so bad. I honestly I would want that operator position, but the odor problem is it creates a problem with that, and I could explain to you why or how that works.
well, you said something that's interesting that I want to ask all three of you, in terms of, I guess, bosses, supervisors, managers. So, from Elijah down to Javier, um, with your current job, how have people reacted to, or more specifically, your manager or supervisor reacted to you? And the same question for Bruce and Javier as well. Like, uh, have you ever overheard them say anything about you? Um, do they still like you as a I guess a worker? Because I know from experience when I had to work with people, even though I got reactions and stuff, they would still vouch for me. Have you had any positive or like negative experiences with your possible boss, supervisor, manager? Let me start with
Yeah.
Elijah first.
So I used to work at a grocery store before I became a teacher, and I had definitely more negative uh, feedback and more negative treatment from my coworkers. Uh, that's that was like towards the end of my stay there, and I was there for about 5 years or so, and I worked in the front end, so I was always in contact with people, just whether it's customer service or just checking people's groceries out or whatever. And it was always the younger people that gave me more of a harder time than the older people. I don't know if it's a generational thing or what, but when I ended up student teaching, so I was still in college, but I had to teach for a semester. Just it's like your practical, you could say. And so I was just like dreading. I wasn't dreading it, but I was like, man, this is going to be a tough time. Like this is probably going to be one of the harder times of my life. And no, it went well. It went really well. And I have a job right now. I got a job. I got interviewed twice during my practical, and I was like, I ain't gonna get these jobs. And if I do, like, how is it gonna be? Just because it's cool at one place, don't mean it'll be like that at the next. And so, you have all these thoughts in the back of your mind, but overall, like, I've been proven wrong. I don't know if it's just because I act like it doesn't exist or not.
Hmm.
You know, I've noticed this, and I've said this to Bruce. Bruce and I talk sometimes. Um, when you are just acting yourself, okay, so you're just acting as if this thing does not exist, or you have a lack of care for it and for its reactions that come with it, your life typically goes a little bit better and a little bit smoother. So I think what happens is like people can see, like, for example, if you're a sufferer and you're always anxious about who's going to react around the corner, how they're going to do this and how they're going to do that, people can kind of see that, and they can just feel your energy, and they can see like, this guy is kind of off, or this guy, he seems very timid for whatever reason, and that's not something that people deem as cool to be around or attractive or whatever. And so when you're just yourself and you just kind of live life, I feel like that makes you a little bit more fun to be around. And therefore that will kind of reduce the negative feedback or the negative, the negative, what do you call it?
Loop.
Encounters that you have with people. So, uh, currently right now, my staff is very supportive. I haven't overheard anything. There's been a few times where I've suspected maybe like a little bit of whispering about something, but it's very few and far in between. Um,
Wow.
I'd say it's been a positive experience, to be honest.
Wow. So no,
Yeah.
so even with kids, because I know with kids they are a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
more honest about things. You haven't heard anything. You haven't heard any type of rumors
Mhm.
or nothing. That's crazy to me. I mean, have you been doing anything different in terms of you have a certain routine to try to reduce it, or
I still stay on a diet.
Mhm.
At the beginning, I was avoiding sugar, like added sugars, right? I would still eat blueberries or strawberries, even though they have sugar in them. Your body needs some sort of sugar. But I was just sticking to natural sugars, right? So no added sugars, none of that. No cheese, no gluten. That's how it was at the beginning. I was going ham with that stuff. And then I said, you know what, I'm gonna loosen up a little bit because I can't stay on this super strict diet forever. And so I I can tolerate a lot more gluten now. Um, Cheese I'll eat once in a while, but sugar I ain't going back to added sugars and all that. Like you will never see me eating a donut ever again or like a cookie or whatever. That's just like sugar's like the devil to me. Like I just can't do it, and it probably is the worst for me personally. But with the kids, I teach 5th grade, so they're like on the brink of middle school, and you know how middle school kids are. They can be rude and they can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
be nasty. And so I was like, damn, like this is gonna be tough. No, I haven't had a comment, nothing. They respect me. They're I'm very strict with them too, so that might be part of it. And
Oh,
most
you're strict.
Oh yeah, because I'm their 3rd teacher this year. The other 2, they quit on them because they're a very, very tough class. I'm just
Oh,
gonna give examples, like, I got now this is what used to happen before I was there. Kids would, like, throw things across the classroom, fight, flip desks, kick chairs, like, craziness, and that happens every once in a while, but they know I don't put up with that stuff, and I just say, like, my tolerance is very low for that stuff, and so I just
is
send them
this in
out.
like a bad school or something
No.
like that?
It's a low income area, but,
Hmm.
um, this is not our normal group of kids that we get at this school. It's just, like, one outlier of, like, kids that really struggle with behaviors,
Hmm.
and I was never taught any of this at university, so I'm learning as I go, but, you would think a group of kids like that would definitely mention it right off the bat and just make it
Yeah.
hard. But, no, I haven't, and if they do, at least it's not around me, you know? There's no clues about it, or I don't have the hunch that someone's talking about it. I never feel like that. Um, but, yeah, it's been good over there. There's been some tough days, but it has nothing to do with the condition.
Mm. Does it have to do with I guess the kids in general, or just man the people who I guess are above you?
No, no management, no, which is the reason why I like my job still there. But it's the kids, they're just difficult. Like, uh, they throw tantrums over the smallest things, or just the other day, yesterday actually, I had a kid kick one of the desks super hard because he was very upset, and he broke part of it with just one kick. And it's just behaviors like that are just very extreme and have to deal with. But I'm a very thankfully, I'm a very patient person, and I don't get stressed out about that sort of stuff.
Oh shit. Yeah, I mean, when I think about it, like, I don't think I can ever be a teacher, man. Like,
It's
because
hard.
I've seen so many videos of kids acting out of turn. They curse out the teacher. They want to fight you and all this other type of shit. Like, if someone like tests me on that, I mean, obviously I'm not, but I'm not gonna hit the kid. But if you have one of those bad days, you're gonna be thinking about it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like, and on top of that, I think that you're like maybe in your
Yeah.
20s or something like that, having that type of stuff for like 20 or 10 plus
Yeah, I'm
more
25.
years, that might affect you. So I
Yeah,
don't know. Yeah, but it's crazy.
I would say like if I had. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's great to hear that you're actually having a pretty good life. You're staying away from gluten, staying away from added sugar, and seems like everything's fine. I mean, I'm pretty much, and that's another thing that's very interesting. Mentioning gluten, I know someone mentioned in the comments to stay away from gluten too. I don't really eat gluten. I don't think. I mean, I don't think it ever affected me. So, you know what I mean?
Well, gluten is in bread though. I think everybody ends up eating gluten, right?
Yeah, I forgot what gluten is. Isn't it like
It's sort
something to
of
do with
protein.
wheat?
Yeah, everything like if you eat like a sandwich, I think you're eating gluten. It's pretty much in a lot of things, and I think like even a little amount, if you're allergic to it, will mess up your stomach.
Yeah, gluten is a protein found in wheat plant and some other grains.
Yeah, it's in
Um,
a bunch of grains. It's kind of hard
yeah,
to avoid. Like it's kind of hard to avoid if you're not really sure.
if you eat a lot of bread, I don't really eat bread like that.
You don't eat bread.
I don't know, like maybe somebody, but
I think it's even in drinks. Like some drinks have gluten in them.
is it maybe like, that's interesting because
Yeah,
now I
I
have to
didn't know there
now
were
I'm actually
drinks
looking
too.
online to see if that's true. Like
I think it is, but I
gluten,
know like and it contaminates shit like stuff. Like if they're processing gluten at one plant, like that's a big deal. And you'll see like companies say, "Oh, was our capsules were done in a gluten-free plant." You know, like
yeah,
it's a big
yeah.
deal.
I'm looking at Google. It says yeah. It could be included in beer, wine coolers, coffee drinks, drink mixes.
It's everywhere, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. But going back to the question, I forgot what the question was. Oh yeah, it was about managing
Yeah.
and how they react to you. So going to Bruce, like uh, going to this new job where you've been, delivering stuff. Has management ever made any mention of you smelling? Have they given you a hard time? Like, what is the experiences you had just being just a driver?
Man, so honestly, they don't give me a real hard time about it. It was funny that you say that because last week I remember I don't know what I ate or what I did, but I was having reactions like real bad as soon as I pulled up to the it's called offsite. I pulled up
Mm,
to the offsite, and I remember I walked up to get because you got to walk up to a little hut that has our computers and stuff, and it's where they hand out the keys to the vans and all that. And I grabbed my keys, and my main manager, my just boss, he said something about the odor. He didn't say it directly to me or about me, but he was talking about me to another coworker. And then and then the coworker, she said, "Well, I can't smell anything because I had COVID, so my sense of smell is gone." And then she just laughed about it. And she was serious too. Like I can tell when people are like not serious or serious about stuff because that same coworker will be up in my face all day, every day, and never reacts, never says anything. But other
yeah.
than that, that same boss, within 2 months of me working there, he was trying to get me to be a manager.
Oh, dope.
But the
That's
thing
dope.
is, like I said, yeah, it's good, but it's it's a little hut that you have to work in. It's like a little shack that they have all the computer stuff that they track the vans and all of that before they
Yeah.
send you to the Amazon site to pick up the packages. And I had to been in that shack every day in the elements. So it would have been a good 20 minutes before I start sweating, and then being in that little enclosed space, the funk would have added up real quick. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna just keep on doing what I'm doing because this is working better. That
Yeah,
and it wasn't, there was no raise, so it really didn't make any sense for me. I would have took more responsibility, more stress, way more stress,
same
just being
pay.
stuck in one place
Yeah.
for the same pay. So I was like, nah.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is with this COVID, well, I don't know if it's COVID's sort of over. I mean, at least from where I'm at, like most people are just don't really have masks or whatever. But during COVID, I guess it was sort of. Did you feel that it was sort of better to move around because you didn't really have to because everybody's wearing the face mask or they got COVID so they can't detect you or whatever. I don't know. Like, how do you feel about were you working? Because that's another thing. I don't know what you were doing during the COVID season. Were you still working at Walmart?
I worked, I worked at I worked at Walmart, and then I transitioned over to Amazon during COVID.
Okay.
But the mask, I don't know, man. I feel like the mask it adds another thing of anxiety because nobody really wanted to wear the mask to begin with, so everybody would keep it down past their nose. So then if you
Yeah.
walk past somebody and all of a sudden they pulled it up to their nose, you're like, oh damn, it's me. You know what I'm saying? Whether it really was or not. That was just
Yo,
like another added level of anxiety.
I
I
have so
have
many experiences like that, bro.
I have yeah, I have like a lot of experiences like that at my job. If you wanna, if I could talk about it later.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you can talk. I mean, I don't have to go through every like person. You know, it's like a
Okay.
you can talk whatever you want to say. But
Yeah.
all I
So
wanted to say was like I have so many experiences like that. Whenever I go to like a supermarket, ask somebody at the I don't know at Target or whatever.
Right.
I'll be talking to them, and then they'll pull their face masks up. I'm like, oh shit, is it me? And that just like fucks up my head.
no,
You know?
I've had experiences with that, and where I know for a fact, 100%, it's because of me, and it sucks. It's like the COVID mask thing in the beginning. It wasn't that bad because everybody had to wear their mask, and it was like really enforced, especially at the jobs and stuff. So it wasn't really, you kind of could brush it off as, oh, he's just following the COVID rules.
Yeah.
And then when they took away the COVID rules at my job, like that's when the mask thing really became like a way to let you know that you stink.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because like with my coworkers, they would never put their mask on around other people, around each other, around other people. They would never wear it. It was multiple times where like they would all be in the office, mask off, chatting. Then I walk in the office, and then all of a sudden a couple of them put their mask on, and it was weird. It was awkward. It's like you could see it happening, and it's embarrassing. Other people would laugh. Like I had speaking of like managers, I one time I went into the office. My manager or my supervisor was in there, and the operator was in there, and he had his mask on his chin. When I walk in, he looks at me. He like rushes to put his mask on, and then
Damn.
my coworker, my manager, my supervisor, like looks at him and laughs, and it was so embarrassing. It was so like, oh man, it was so fucked up. And
Yeah.
so with me, the mask thing really made it towards the end, and even still now, like it makes it even worse because you could see that they don't have any concern to put their mask on until you come around, and that's like that really hits your soul, I guess, or it really
Yeah.
hurts. So
Affects your self-esteem, gives you anxiety.
that gives you the anxiety. Like, so it got to the point like with that guy, like I would just call him over the phone and it just like, all right, what we gotta do today? Where do you want to go? Oh, what do you,
Mm.
where do you want me to do? Where do you want me to go? So I wouldn't have to see him in person. So I wouldn't have to force him to put his mask on. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to see that whole interaction in person. So I would just talk to him over the phone. and he's very weird about it. You know, I brought up the odor issue to him, and he denies it. He just flat out claims that he can't smell me or there's nothing going on. So that's even crazier.
Yeah. People lie.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
people
lot of people
lie.
lie. When you
Yeah,
confront
I
them about
know.
it.
I know he's lying. I know he's lying, but I don't understand why lie and then still do the mask thing and still like he kind of does it. He's done it like a few times, like as a joke, like that time when he made my manager laugh, my supervisor laugh. Like I felt like he was like, like
Mocking you.
kind of mocking me, like even with the speed that he put the mask on and everything. It was just
Yeah,
weird, man.
yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I was used to work at, well, I don't want to say the company. I used to work at another company. Yeah, a lot of people will use me as like the butt of a joke or some shit. So um I know like sometimes I would like be in the office or something like that, and they would speak Spanish, but once I like pass by them, they would say something in Spanish, and then everybody starts laughing, and I can't like it's not necessarily have to do with mass, but it's like I don't know what's going on, but I can read the room type of shit.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's the same way with your scenario. Like I don't know exactly what they said, but I can tell it had to do with me with some shit
yeah.
right when I walked past them.
No,
So
yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, all I was just gonna say is like I completely get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's straightforward in my opinion. It's like there's no other reason why you do that other than the person stinks. And what's funny is that the mask won't really cover the smell, so I don't get it either. Like the mask won't help people. I've actually had people comment like it's like do like little comments like, man, the mask isn't helping. And I'm like,
Mm.
isn't helping what? I don't get
I used to
it.
have that too.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I guess you were talking about me, right? Like it's not helping you.
I don't
But
know. I don't know if this is just me. And maybe I'm weird about it, but I always feel like more comfortable wearing a mask than not. I don't know. Like when I'm out in public, I feel more secure. Does anybody feel that way? Or do
I
you still wear a
actually,
mask?
that's funny that you mentioned that because like we recently at my school, they said we don't have to wear them. It's optional. Well, actually, they said it's highly recommended. That's what they said, but it's not forced. So like I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm gonna see like who wears it, who doesn't, right? And at first, the teachers were like the only ones without them, and I just felt weird without it because I just maybe we're just conditioned to just like having that feeling of that mask on your face, and just knowing that people can't see your actual facial expression or whatever. And so now when you finally unveil that, it just feels weird. And so like with my class specifically, I would say like half of them wear it and half of them don't. Now I don't know if that has anything to do with the condition. Maybe it's like 40% of them don't wear it, 60% of them do. But I don't know if that has anything to do with the condition. But to answer your question, like I do definitely feel better with it on, at least at the school. But when I'm like with friends or whatever, it's like, nah, I've known them for X amount of time.
Yeah, and the funny thing about your situation, Elijah, is the fact that I remember reading so many things, so many stories uh, within the COVID, within the COVID or the pandemic, where I would hear that a lot of teachers would just walk out or they would retire early, which would put a lot of strain on the school system, or just because
Mhm.
there would be a limited amount of teachers, and you definitely heard that about like nurses and stuff like that. So now that I know that you're a teacher, I was so curious to know if like that was affecting you in your school when you got into it. I don't know. And another thing is, how long have you been a teacher? Just like maybe only a year or so?
Actually, I at like actually earning money for my teaching because I student taught, right? So that was a semester of experience. But that, how long was that? 5 months ish or something like that, 4.5 months. But now I'm actually getting paid for it, thank God, because you need money.
Yeah.
And so it's been 3 months at this school, well, 3.5 almost. So in total, it's been almost a whole year of me teaching, but I've learned so much.
Wow. And I'm glad you said that about being paid because I know for about at least within this year, I believe inflation rose about 7.5%
Hmm.
across America. I know for me, my rent went up, and gas obviously went up, and food went up. So I wanted to hear everybody's experience with the price, inflation. Um, how did that affect you just with your life, and is there any type of stories you have that also somewhat related to this weird body odor situation? So let me start with you, Elijah, and then we'll go to Bruce and then Javi.
Yeah. I haven't really noticed. I mean, like, okay, gas, because it takes me like 25 minutes to get to my job. It's like on the other side of the city. So it's like it's a straight drive there, but it's on the busiest street of the city, and the traffic, as you know, is going to be a problem. And so definitely gas has been something. Um I wouldn't say it's too big of a problem, but and it's hard to say because like the pay that I'm getting now is different from the pay that I've been getting before. So I've been used to like really conserving my money and saving it, because working at a grocery store is not going to be as much as a teacher. Not to say that a teacher makes a lot, but it's a little bit more than what you're going to make at a grocery store. So this is like the most I've ever made, and so it's really hard to draw a comparison of like how inflation's really affecting me. But I've always heard people say, teachers don't get paid that much, and I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to see it. So I've already
Yeah,
had my third paycheck, and some days I'm like, I should have gotten paid double than what I actually am getting paid, just because of what I had to deal with. Um, but I don't have a lot to say on that subject other than
mm,
the gas prices. And I know some places in America have the gas prices. I saw some pictures where like they were like $7 a gallon or almost. Just like
yeah, that'd
insane.
be like West Coast or some shit
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, like some crazy prices here. Um, I was just driving home and I looked at the gas prices on the way home, and they're still just under $4, but that's still kind of high for my area at least. But it's not $7.
Mm. So what about you, Bruce? With this inflation rising to 7.5%, I know again it was gas, food, energy, even used cars rose. Has there been any experiences that you had that made your life a little bit difficult, and with addition to this like weird odor condition affected you in any way?
I mean, as far as the condition, no, but it cut my side money in half
There you
because
go.
so I deliver for Amazon, and while I'm working for the company, they pay for all the gas. But I
Mm.
also do Uber Eats, DoorDash, I do Shipped, I do Amazon Flex in my own vehicle, and all of that takes gas, my own money and gas to make money. So
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it, it pretty much cut all my extra money in half,
yeah.
unfortunately.
And didn't you used to like work on cars or repair cars or something like that, or did that
Yeah, no, I,
affect?
I I still do, and that's my hobby. And then now with the used car prices going up, it's like I'm about to stick to these two cars
Damn.
that I have, and then one of them just died on me. The engine went out, so
Sheesh.
I'm had to fix that because I'm not buying another car anytime soon.
Yeah, yeah. What was it, like a Mustang or something?
Yeah, the Mustang, I blew the engine in it.
Damn, that shit's happening to you left and right. Well, have you, within your experience, has your life with the inflation, has it gotten worse? And has there been any type of story that's sort of related to your odor that sort of
Ye-
affected
Yeah. So with me, like as far as gas prices, I could drive the company truck. I have a company truck and I have a company gas card. So basically, like commuting to work is free for me, um, and I could take the
oh
truck.
shit.
Yeah, I could take
So
the
you have so they allow you to keep the truck at your your house or something, or your
Yeah, I could keep
apartment?
the truck at my house. Yeah, and
That's crazy. I didn't know.
it's a new truck too. It's like a 2019 or 2020. It's has all the fucking nice all the new shit you could think of in a
Good
truck.
shit.
So I could do that, but I don't. And the reason why I don't do it every day. Some days I take it home, but I haven't been doing that lately because, believe it or not, I know this is hard for even people within our own community. It's very hard for them to believe this, but my odor is so strong that you could smell me like from outside of the truck at a pretty good distance. So as I'm driving, I'm getting reactions from people driving next to me. They roll up their windows, people walking on the street. They make faces. They look at me. Sometimes they even put their mask on out of the blue just for no reason as I'm driving by
Outside,
them.
bro?
Outside, bro, my odor is very strong. It's very,
Dang.
very strong. And from when I spoke to the first time I spoke to body odors, I didn't even understand how strong it was until because of the mask thing. And then I started noticing the people driving next to me as well. So because of all that reactions and stuff, I get a lot of anxiety as I'm driving home. So I rather drive home with my personal car. So I don't have to. If I do get in an accident, it's in my car. It's not in the
Right.
company's car, because I'm over here distracted and feeling embarrassed as I'm driving home. Even as I'm driving home, like this odor has affected me in all aspects. Even when I'm by, like Bruce's does his delivery stuff, dude. Like I probably wouldn't be able to do that because then as I'm driving, I'm seeing all the damn reactions and all the awkwardness about it. So that's I don't even go outside anymore. I used to like uh, go to Jack in a Box, or I can imagine. I can't believe I used to do this, but I used to go to IHOP to eat. You know,
Shit.
when I had a
Wow.
girlfriend, I used to go to the movies with her. Like now I can't even ever imagine myself doing something like that again, and because it's gotten so deep into my head and my psyche and my anxiety is like it's through the roof now. So I could be taking advantage of driving the company truck and saving on gas. I basically don't pay gas to go to live, but I don't do it. Unfortunately, I guess I'm a fucking idiot for just
That's the point you
Yeah,
gotta
man.
let
I,
all
I
that
would
go,
do.
man.
I would do that shit like a motherfucker. Fuck
I
that shit.
would, but here's the thing: like I don't have kids, I don't go out, so I don't really spend money like that. So like, yeah, it'll save me $100 a week or whatever, $80, but I'm not like, oh damn, dude, I can't pay my rent. Fuck. Like if it was like that,
Yeah.
then yeah, I would be like, you know what? Fuck this shit, get in the truck and save money that way. But the yeah, man, like I so that's how so at the end, this inflation stuff is affecting me. We're not gonna get a raise anytime soon, I'm pretty sure. Even though I work in the oil field and we're producing a lot of oil and we're selling oil at $100 a barrel, so we're making money, but the company is making funny. We're fucked. We're not gonna get the raise and all
Yeah.
that. So yeah, so it does affect me. I happened to invest in some oil stocks though,
Okay.
right before oil went up to 100. So I
You
made
got the insider info.
yeah, actually I invested in a company I used to work at. So they were very low. That I think they were undervalued, and I bought some leap options they call them, long term equity something something. I bought those, and then within a month it shot up $20, and
Okay.
I made a good. I basically doubled my investment. So, but again, like that's all that money is probably gonna get eaten up right now through the gas prices, anyways. So, but it's
Shit. I
better,
need to.
better than not having it.
I need to consult you whenever I need to look at some stocks that have to do with oil. I need to consult you guys. And
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
got
know what I mean?
lucky,
Yeah.
but
But I wanted to say because you just touched on something I thought was interesting, which you were talking a little bit about delivery and how you were saying with Bruce, like how hard it would be to do delivery even with your like condition. I remember trying to do delivery too as an Uber driver and what's that other stupid shit? Some other company.
DoorDash.
Is it DoorDash?
DoorDash.
Dash.
Man, that shit was really hard. You got to walk up into a restaurant,
Yeah.
even though you know you smell funky and shit, and get the food and then deliver it, and you keep
Yeah.
doing that. Sometimes go into malls where there are restaurants and stuff like that. Like that's really hard. So,
Bro, I
yeah,
walk up in everywhere just smiling.
Well, at one point,
It kind of it kind of touches on what Elijah was saying earlier too. If I figured out too, I agree with Elijah. If you're acting like you're anxious about it, everybody else is gonna be anxious about it. If you kind of act like it, I mean, we know it exists and we know it's us. But if you put that in the back of your mind and avoid all that, thinking about it and acting that way, it dies down tremendously.
No, I agree with you, Bruce. I know that it's a problem that I'm like focusing on it, but that's the thing. Like with this COVID thing, the you used to see before, like people couldn't put their mask over their nose, right? Like there was no concept of a mask. So if you stunk to them, they kind of had to just sit there and wait for you to leave. Now they could kind of show you that you're stinking by like, oh shit, he's here. Let me put my mask on. And now you as a human, you see that. You cannot not see it. It's kind of hard not to see it. But before this COVID thing, like I used to go to school, I used to sit in class, and I had people that would complain about my odor. They would sit next to me, and I would hear them later on complain about my odor, but they never covered their nose. They never covered their nose with a mask. So it was like, it kind of gave you that like, oh, well, he complains about my odor, but I don't know how bad it is. Like I could hear him talking about it, but hey, no one else is reacting. So you could kind of ignore it. I used to, I used to ride the bus. I used to go in Ubers. I used to do go to eat in public, all that stuff. Now I can't imagine myself doing it because I don't know if my odor. Go ahead.
I still live my life, bro. You still got to live your life.
No, I understand.
Everybody.
Yeah,
everybody does.
I know you got to live your life, but it's become very difficult for me, like, because this is another thing. Like, my odor is so strong, so my job, it deals with the gas producing gas and oil, right? And sometimes we have like complaints of people complaining about the odors at the sites, right? So now, like, it's so much stress for me, dude. I have to worry about that. I have to worry, like, fuck, if I'm here too long, then what do they call in? Because sometimes they'll phone in or they'll send a text. Hey, it smells over there. It smells like shit. What's going on? Like, they'll complain to the city. So, like, now I'm fucking concerned about that. And I know that you say, well, you got to ignore it. You can't ignore something like that. It's very hard. Your job is on the line, because if they complain about your smell, if they were to complain about my smell, if I'm an operator and I'm there 12 hours a day, and if they start phoning in and saying, hey man, it's starting to smell like shit, what are you guys doing over there? The company could at some point fire me. Not probably, they probably won't say like, yo, you stink, get the fuck out of here. But like, I've actually missed a promotion, and I believe it was because of that, because there was an opening at one site where there's a lot of protesters, a lot of people watching that site. The city, the people, the neighbors around, they don't want that oil site there, and they call in all the time and complain about the smell, complain about this and that. And there was a position open, and they skipped over me. They gave it to somebody else when they had already told me that they were going to give me an operator position. And I had already told them that I wanted to work there. I didn't know the situation at the time. And they skipped over me. They gave it to somebody else. And I'm 95% sure it was because of my odor. That they thought about it, because they're like, you know what? If we put this stinky motherfucker there, there might be complaints of people complaining about the odor. So
we blow this up in our head and come up with a lot of stuff way worse than what it actually is, because I deal with that stuff at my job too, as far as the van stinking, and then my coworkers complaining that, oh, this smells like fish, or this smells like shit in that van.
Yeah.
Like when we pull up to the it's called the hub to pick up the Amazon packages,
Yeah.
the Amazon workers that work up there, they've made comments like, y'all shitty ass vans and this and that. You know what I'm saying? One
Right.
thing with the vans that I am lucky about is we all work in them all day, all time. So it's not just my smell sitting in there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
every once in a while I'll get in the van and it'll smell like pee because somebody couldn't find a restroom, I guess, and they just decided to pee in the back of the van.
Oh man, that's
Um,
crazy.
Oh, so you don't
but
get like a side vans.
no, no. Yeah, hey, so on that though, I noticed the past 3 weeks they finally started putting me in the same van every day. But this whole almost year that I've worked there, they've always had me in a different van every day up until this last 3 weeks. And my thought process was, to begin with, if they ever came to me and said anything, all I was going to tell them is, hey, just put me in one specific van, and then you only have to worry about my condition. I was going to tell them it was a medical condition. You only got to worry about it stinking up one van. You know what I'm saying? I was going to tell them half the van smell like piss from people peeing in them. I mean, if that's the biggest
Damn,
thing that
that
y'all are worried
that's
about,
common.
then just put me in one van. And they did it on their own just recently. Like when I said that my boss had actually made a comment about me, I think they finally had figured out that it was me and just put me in one van. But like I said, I still got offered the promotion. Um, my coworkers still come up to me and talk to me. My coworkers, they know it's me. Like
Yeah.
they know it's me. It's they'll still come up to me and hang out, because when I first get there at work every day, uh, it's the shack, and then we have a huddle up, a meeting, so everybody gets around each other. And normally I'll sit on the back of one of the vans and just stay away from everybody because I know I stink. You know what I'm saying? And they
Yeah.
know, I know it's me. They know it's me, and they're like, Smith, get over here. You know what I'm saying? They don't they don't give me too hard of a time about it. We make it. If you make it a big deal, then it's going to
Yeah.
be a big deal. If you do your job the best that you can, and you're outshining everybody else, then the work is going to show through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I was gonna say regarding the Amazon stuff and Uber driver, they have a policy. It's written in their like terms of service or whatever. It's that if you have bad odor, they could fire you. Like that's
I'm trying to figure out why I haven't got fired yet. Then
yeah. No, I'm not because you work for delivery,
if
but
I do have a bad.
I'm
I'm gonna
talking
tell you this too.
I'm talking about the people
I'm
that
gonna tell you
drive
this too.
other humans.
I'm gonna compare my order to your order.
Yeah.
So maybe like 3 months in, so we have this big huge parking lot where all the vans drive into. We all get in single file line back behind each other and to the side of each other where we pick up the packages and load up the packages.
Yeah.
One week I decided to drink energy drinks again. I was like, oh, my odor's not that bad. Let's start drinking energy drinks. I'm not joking. They have these fans. They're like these big humidifiers for during the summer, so we don't get overheated while we're out loading the things. That they'll mist water out into the parking lot, and it's this huge parking lot. And they also have something, because of COVID, that they can put this disinfectant in it that'll spray this disinfectant to clean the air, and it has this stuff that smells good in it, like this clean smell stuff. And within 2 days of me drinking energy drinks, my smell was over the whole yard. And they cut those fans on every single day until I stopped drinking energy drinks.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
But I
you can
still have a
smell
job.
it?
No. I'm saying okay, but if it here's I think the ultimate test to see if you stink. If get a job, not saying
That was the ultimate test.
I'm not saying you, Bruce. Don't take this a personal thing. To anybody out there, get a job as an Uber driver, and then drive people around, and then see your reviews. If somebody says, "Yeah, he took me to where I went, but it smelled like shit in that fucking car," that would be a good test. I'm not saying you specifically. I'm just saying in general, all of us. Because at one point, I can't believe this. Sometimes I think back to this. I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? I almost was an Uber driver. Before I really understood the extent of my odor, I actually applied to be an Uber driver, but I couldn't because my driver license, I think, was suspended or something, and I couldn't get the job. But that would have been a cold way to find out if I stunk. If I went to my reviews and seen somebody say that, the car smelled like shit or the driver smelled like shit or something.
You're still making up. You're still blowing up the scenario in your head, though. All of us, I've been there, you've been there, all of us have been there to where once we know that we stink, we start thinking, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? If I do this, then this happens. When you blow it up in your head and think about it all the time instead of just trying to do things as normal, then it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and those things happen, or you just don't attempt to do whatever it is anyway, not knowing whether that would or wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
That's just like everybody. I've noticed in a lot of the Facebook groups and the Discords and stuff, everybody's scared to date. Everybody's scared to date.
Including me, man.
I date. You said what?
Including me. I'm still trying to date right now, but shit.
I'm dating right now, and you'll have some people that maybe it's a big deal, and you'll have other people that it's not a big deal at all, and then some people can't even smell you.
Yeah. I've been with girls that can't smell me, and I've been with girls that could smell me. So my last girlfriend could smell me.
So then why are you scared to date then?
No, I'm not scared to date, dude. I just
You said you were. You said you're scared to do a lot of stuff outside the house.
Yeah, as far as like, I'm not scared to go outside the house, but I just don't like doing that anymore. But before, like, my last girlfriend, she could smell me and she complained about my smell, but we were still sleeping in the same bed, sleeping together and stuff, and everything was normal. The girl before that, I met her through some website or something, and we met, and she had zero reactions to me, and at all. Like, I even took her out. We went to Applebee's or something. Like, I've done that before. That was before, like, kind of like you guys were saying, where you don't pay attention to it. Like I said, man.
I'm saying I do it. I do it now.
Unfortunately, with this COVID thing, the COVID thing really has upped my anxiety. But
that's what I'm saying.
I get what you guys are saying.
You gotta let it go, man.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
So you don't really do any type of routine to try to reduce it. You just out and about and said, fuck it.
Bro, I was trying for years. I tried keto. I tried just cutting out all sugar and still eating carbs. I've got a mountain of supplements still sitting inside my cabinets and in my house. And I promise on everything, the last 2 months, I've eaten, this is gonna sound really bad. I've eaten fast food every day.
Damn.
I've eaten fast food every day. I avoid cheese. I avoid any kind of dairy. Just immediately sets me off for some reason. Caffeine sets me off for some reason. Like, immediately. That's what I was saying with the energy drinks up at Amazon. And then they were spraying the yard with the disinfectant to clear out the smell. And I noticed nicotine, actually. I think it's kind of like the same deal as caffeine. It's a stimulant. And for some reason, that brings out the smell. So I still vape, but everything else, the dairy, the caffeine, like a lot of sugar and artificial sweeteners for some reason. Artificial sweeteners are worse for me than sugar. But I
Hmm.
had a Coke earlier today. I ate a hamburger from McDonald's. Um, and I'm good, man.
That's
I still get
crazy.
reactions here and there, but it's diminished as long as I avoid my main stressors. That, and then I can't put on any kind of cologne or a real strong smelling soap. So I use like all unscented stuff. And as long as I do that and I don't go to like something that's going to make me just sweat outrageously, it's at a level that I can deal with and that everybody around me can deal with without making comments.
I find that fascinating because it now makes me think of a question I want to ask all of you. In terms of colognes and even just like going to the barber, because that's another thing that I sort of tie into. Like, there's a lot of things I used to do a long time ago. Go to the barber shop, try to get a fresh cut, put on cologne, try to put on something, that smells good. But I don't do that shit anymore. If my hair gets too long, I just buzz cut. You know what I mean? I just stop wearing cologne in general. So I wanted to go through and ask all of you, like, do you still go? You still do you still go out and get haircuts? Obviously, Bruce told me, already just alerted that he doesn't really put on cologne anymore. But do you still put on cologne? Let me go to Elijah about that.
Yeah, I used to actually. So before I actually started to take this more serious, I used to, and I would get, good comments, mostly in the dating phase. But then for some reason, I kind of just stopped doing it. Um, I haven't done it since. It's been like a good 4 years since I've actually used. I used to wear it regularly, especially when I go out. Couple sprays and that'll be good. But now I haven't really done it. I've heard of some people saying like it helps with theirs, and some people saying it does the exact opposite. Um, I'm to the point where like kind of like what Bruce was saying, like you try so many things and then you just kind of say you got to let go at some point, and just enjoy your life. Life's so short, and so it's gonna pass you by before you know it. Um, I'm This is just me personally, but I'm very content with living with reduced symptoms. A lot of us, it's human nature to want perfection, to want to, to be the best at this or the fastest at this or the smartest at this or whatever. And the same goes with people with this condition where you want to be, you know, quote unquote normal like everyone else. But sometimes you just got to accept what you have and see the little things that you have in life, the blessings. And, you know, I was on Discord a while. I don't know if you're on Discord, but I know there's a Discord like Josh the Gut where, there was guys that were in there saying, you know what, this is the worst thing ever, blah, blah, blah. And that's in the moment, you're very emotional. You hate this, you hate that, or whatever. But like, dude, like, there are people who aren't born with legs, people who can't walk,
Right.
people who can't do this and that, and you're very tunnel. You have this tunnel vision because you feel like, you know. I'm not saying that this isn't a bad thing to have, but there's definitely someone that has it worse than any of us, And so, for me personally, I just try to remember expressions, quotes, whatever that helped me get through the day or whatever. I don't need it to help me get through the day anymore because I've come to accept a lot of things and appreciate a lot of things. But um, to answer your question, no, I don't do the cologne thing because I'm not looking for perfection. Um, Honestly, if you have reduced symptoms or if you don't, if you got older, you got older. It don't matter what it is. People that don't have this point of view or have been through this condition, they're not going to say, you know what, so and so came to the office today and they are at about a 4 out of 10 as far as odor compared to a 6 out of 10. They don't care about that. They just, you got older, you got older. So um, I just kind of accepted a lot of things and um, just been appreciative with reduced symptoms. But I don't know. I'm going on a tangent.
No, I thought you made a very interesting point. I agree. I agree to an extent, but when you have it really hard, like at least from what Javier is saying, it's sort of hard to ignore. I know the only time I ever had something similar to Javier when he was describing his life or the reactions he was having. is only when I like really let go. So when Bruce was talking about just eating fast food every day, eating a hamburger and drinking some soda and shit, like I'm like that I can't do that shit. Um, but
I agree. I would say like a lot of people get a little carried away with it when they want to get cured. Like it becomes this obsession. It's a very you become worse off than you were before, especially mentally. And like I remember I went down that I was in that phase for a little bit where I was doing everything, fasting, I was running, doing this, doing that. And I was doing everything I could in my power. Um, and I still wasn't having the results I wanted. And some people like they it drives them to madness and paranoia and all this stuff. Like it can
yeah,
get really, really nasty if you don't watch yourself. Um, so I decided like I'm not at the point where I let myself go. Like I am more accepting of certain things. Sugar is not one of them, but like cheese once in a blue moon. I eat gluten pretty much every day now because I can tolerate it. Now I don't go crazy on the gluten, but I eat it.
yeah.
Um, and I'm in a classroom, so I still have to be somewhat careful. Um, but I just know how bad I used to have it, especially when I was on kefir. I know you're drinking kefir now, which is interesting, and I hope things work out for you after a month and a half, 2 months, whatever it's going to be. Um, and some people it doesn't help them, but for me, it made my odor 10 times. I mean, it was just the worst I've ever seen. And
Wow.
I
Homemade
just
or store bought?
store bought, but I tried a homemade kombucha and store bought kombucha, and I don't know if it did the same thing, but I know it increased it. But kefir was
Mm,
just like the worst. And I remember I was seeing someone at that time, and they still were staying with me and stuff, but I could see like reactions that I hadn't seen before, and work was just hell because I was at that grocery store. Um, and so I just know like I'm no longer experiencing that like I used to, and so I'm very appreciative. So if I get like a minor thing like Javier was saying, pulling up the mask or whatever, or just minor things, like I'm just like shove it off, or brush my shoulder. It's like that's nothing compared to what I've seen. And like I said, there's still someone that has it way worse. So um yeah.
I don't
yeah, that
know. Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say that paranoia it really affects you because you
Yeah,
never know for a fact if they're pulling their mask up because of you or just
yeah,
I don't know their nose itches or whatever. Someone might I know sometimes I was like walking down the street and stuff because I'm trying to get out more so too, and I walk past people and sometimes they'll like maybe make some weird noise. Maybe they make a coughing sound while they
yeah.
walk past me or some weird stuff like that, and I never know if it's like, oh,
Because you,
is there something wrong with them or is it because of me? And then you just
yeah,
have to say, oh, who gives a shit? And just
yeah,
constantly have that who gives a shit attitude. But
exactly. No, but like you were saying about the putting the cologne stuff on, like I don't have my odor is so strong that I wouldn't even see the point of a cologne. Like it will not mask the odor. It probably just make it more comedic to people. Like, look at this idiot. He's like trying to mask his odor with this cologne, but we could smell him for about 100 feet away. Like, what's the difference? So I wouldn't try to put a cologne. I had in the past before I was aware of how bad I stunk. I've gotten compliments for the cologne in the past.
oh,
Uh,
really?
yeah, one time, I was actually call the call girl over. Well, this could be because she was a call girl. I actually didn't call her over. Okay, I went to the motel. I was gonna
Call the
meet a
caller over. Okay.
no. Well, I was gonna meet another girl, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the motel guy he brought me a girl over, and was like, hey, if you're looking for company, she's right here. And then like she gave me a hug and a kiss on the cheek, and then she's like, oh, you smell so good. I
First
think.
off, I didn't even know there's still such thing as call girls. I thought that was like a dead profession.
Well, you know
You
what?
know,
I don't want to call her a hooker. But
Okay, well,
I'm
okay.
I was trying to find politically correct terms or something, to make it sound as bad, but it was
The
a
only time I ever heard about call girls, like
yeah,
when they used to do like nude magazines and shit, and you could like look into their services and
well, that's
you know.
it was a prostitute, but like he brought her over to me. I remember that she complimented my cologne or whatever, but that was a while ago, and now like I wouldn't try it because the odor is so strong that it's like kind of pointless. Like if someone can't smell me already, like then they can't smell me, and that's good enough. I don't need to smell good for them. As long as
Yeah.
if they can't smell me, then I'm happy with that. Well, why would I have them smell my shit stank, and then on top of that, the cologne? Like, what difference would it make? Like, anytime that you try to cover up bad smell with cologne, that smell just got worse. In my personal experience, it just made the odor worse or really
Can
no
I ask you?
difference.
Can I ask you something? Because I have this theory now. Now that you were talking, when you met this escort, do you feel that she was just lying to you, or was she just being? Do you feel it was genuine?
Okay.
Did you?
Oh, here's my personal anecdotes on that. So I've been with girlfriends, regular girlfriends, not hookers, regular girlfriends, and I've been with hookers before, a lot of them. And
Damn.
I can't pinpoint a time where a hooker complained about my odor, and I've been sometimes with hookers that really really like me, and even to the point where they want to hang out with me past the time that I've paid them. So that's all weird too. Like I think about those times and I'm like, man, that's weird. Like why did she had zero reaction to me to the point where like she wanted to hang out afterwards? Well, like so if she was
It
being
could be like
genuine
a
or not,
confidence thing,
huh?
like so so like when you're with someone who you're paying for their time, you're
Yeah.
like, I'm paying them so I don't have much to worry about. They kind of have to
Yeah.
go through what they're gonna go through.
And at those times I wasn't even really aware of my odor like that. So like it was never in my mind like, yo, I stink. She's gonna walk in and she gonna be like offended, or if I pick her up, is she gonna be offended? Like that was zero on my mind. So I had never got a reaction from them. I cannot think of one that ever was like, I'm out of here, and just like fucking left.
That's interesting.
And like I said, I've also been with some that like, they want to hang out afterwards. Have them they're kissing me and they're like, oh, you remind me of my boyfriend. Like let's just kick it or whatever. It's just like, and at the time, like I said, I was not aware of my odor, so like it was never even a shock to me that they would want to do that.
I, I honestly feel like anxiety makes the odor come out even more.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So
I agree
you
with you there.
not being anxious probably made the smell die down a whole lot.
Yes, and it's like I do feel like that. Like I feel when I see somebody come in that I get nervous. I'm like, oh, he's gonna react, and sure enough, he starts reacting, and I'm like, fuck. And I thought about it. I was like, did I myself cause this by having that anxiety? And yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Anxiety definitely exacerbates it. And now that actually Elijah made a point about when you're around these hookers or whatever, you're not really in a space where you're like, oh shit, hopefully I don't smell bad. So maybe that also contributes to the fact that they didn't really react to you. But another thing I found that was interesting about your situation with the hookers is like I feel like the same situation is with like doctors in a way. Because when you go into a doctor, I'm never really anxious seeing the doctor, like, oh, hopefully the doctor doesn't smell me. So when I go into the doctor's office, he's not going to react, or he says he doesn't smell anything. And I think that also contributes to it because I'm not really anxious. I'm not scared. I want him to smell it. And I'm in a pretty
Oh,
much calm space.
so
And
you're yeah,
another
go ahead.
thing is like, I was going to say, like, also doctors get as many clients as I think like escorts get clients. You feel me? So maybe that
They're used
like
to all the smells.
yeah, exactly. So it could be like twofold. It's the fact that you have less anxiety, and another factor is like they've been through so many clients or whatever that
Yeah.
they got an iron nose or whatever. I don't know.
Well, check this
So,
out. Bringing up doctors. So, right at the beginning of COVID, I was seeing ear, nose, and throat doctor. She was an Asian chick, and she was like, "I don't smell anything," and she would laugh with me. Like I would tell her the stories, like, "Well, my coworker, he did this, and it made me think he was reacting." And she just laughed, and she's like, "No way, you're lying or whatever." She's like, "I don't smell anything. I don't smell anything," and she was like, real cool with me, real personable, and like real friendly, like super chill with me. And I liked her a lot. And I was like, damn, I found a doc. She was like willing to like try things and hear me out. When I told her about TMAU, she like Googled it and learned about it. So, but then she went on maternity leave for like 7 months, and I never went back.
mhm.
We were gonna do the TMAU piss test, but like right when I brought it up, she was going on maternity leave. So I go see her like a year and a half later, and dude, she was reacting to me crazy, like, and she wasn't friendly
Mm.
at all. Like she wasn't friendly at all. Like she wasn't trying to make no small talk. Like before, she would always make small talk and just laugh with me, and she thought I was a funny person, and I would tell her all the stories and stuff. And this time I went back, like she was like covering her, like pinching her mask down, like I don't know if you ever seen that, but like the masks have like a metal thing that
Yeah.
you, so she was pinching that down and was just like serious with me, and it was so fucking awkward, dude. I don't know what happened between that time period, but I feel that she definitely could start smelling me then, and the whole office smelled out. Everybody was reacting. It was even going to doctors' offices now. I can't do that no more. I can't. I it's so hard to deal with, and hearing people cough, and I hate it. It's too much anxiety.
I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you, Javi. Like, I honestly think I know you said the diet thing doesn't work because you fasted for 2 days, but 2 days ain't shit. Um, I think
Yeah,
you should at
I
least
know.
give it a good month and see
God
what's
damn,
up. No,
I
and I
can't
don't. I
eat,
don't.
not eat for a whole
I'm
month.
not like. I don't mean like fasting. I mean like going on a diet and,
On a
and
diet?
removing the common things a lot of people try to avoid,
You
or at
think
least common
so?
things I would try to
Okay,
avoid,
so
which
what
is
diet are you trying?
pretty much, to be real with you, like I'm just like a vegan and I'm drinking kefir, so technically now I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
So I just eat fruits
Zero
and
meat.
vegetables and shit. I used to do FODMAP, and I used to like watch my choline levels. I was like, oh, I'm only gonna get 200 milligrams of choline a day. But now, like, I'm like, fuck that shit because I'm a remote, so I don't really have to do all that. I'm going outside more, so maybe I can go. I don't feel like I want to go back to eating 200 milligrams because that's really not too. You're not really eating too much food. Um,
I
but
wanted to
yeah,
add something to that real quick, Jermaine. So like
oh,
with the diet
cool.
thing, like there was a time where I was eating just like a lot of fruit and stuff. And so like I was still avoiding the sugar. I stopped the kefir. I stopped that because it was just, and by the way, like I had the odor change like a couple different times a month after I stopped the kefir. Like I had a grass, like when you mow the lawn type deal and you come inside, you have like it smells like grass. I had that going, other stuff,
You're
just weird stuff.
detecting it,
But
or people are telling you you smell this way.
both, yeah, like it was very strange.
You could smell
Um,
yourself?
and so yeah, I mean, yeah, I can. So I wanted to say like there was a time where like I was really going hard on that stuff, and then I was only eating like, man, there was like a handful of foods I was eating. So like baked chicken, eggs, scrambled eggs. They're not bad for me. Um, what else? It was all kinds of berries, a lot of spinach, rice, some turkey, that sort of deal. And there was a point in time where like it felt weird. So like I don't know how to explain it. It's like like when you eat a lot of junk, you feel like you have this. It's like this stuff inside of you, like around, or maybe around where your sweat secretions are going to be at. It feels like almost a little heavier. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. Like you feel like if you were to sweat, like there's going to be like some sort of like something, like it's odor or
Gas
whatever.
emitting.
I don't
Mhm.
know, just something. It just it's not going to be good, right? but like there was a few days where like I just felt that like if I were to sweat, like it would be nothing. And like I remember hanging out those couple days, and I was getting good feedback from people. Like they were saying they're like out of nowhere. Like I wouldn't even bring up anything. They'd be like, "Oh, it smells pretty good," or whatever. And I'd be like, "Really?"
Hmm.
And it had no cologne, nothing like that. And so stuff like that was like really weird. But like I said, it was a very strict diet. It was like eggs, a whole lot of fruit, a bunch of fruit, mostly just berries, a lot of spinach, like raw spinach. Like I would just put it like in a Tupperware. I'd wash it and I just eat it like that. And so like that's like literally like what do you call those dinosaurs that only eat plants? Omnivores, like a straight omnivore. Um, but that was I think it's omnivore. No? Herbivore. Oh, omnivore is both, isn't it? Meat and plants.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, like a straight herbivore. But I remember I kind of loosened up on the diet a little bit, then that stuff went away. But I know, like deep down inside, if I wanted to get that, experience that same moment, that I just had to go back to those same foods. But the thing with that was like, I feel like I was losing muscle mass on that diet too. Like I was skinnier than normal. And that's another thing about this. Like a lot of people cut this off, cut that off, and you lose weight because you're not getting as much protein or as much this or as much that. Like before I got into all this stuff, I would like I'm about 6'6". I'm pretty like I play basketball. I'm tall. Like I have like a to give a physicality description, it's like tall but skinnier. So like a Kevin Durant kind of build. And so 6'6", and I used to weigh about 180, 185. I would fluctuate between those two. But now, last time I checked, I'm about 170s, like mid 70s, maybe low. I used to be like, when I was on that diet, it used to be like 170. But then now it's probably like 175 or something like that. But
You must be very tall and lanky.
Yeah, I'm not like super lanky, but I don't know. I'm pretty tall, like 6'5", 6'6", something like that. I don't know which one.
Because I'm 177. I just weighed myself today. I'm 177. So you're 6'6", and you're like, I'm like only 6 feet.
6 feet, yeah. I don't know, but yeah, that's the thing with that. So like, I started to allow other foods in, and so I was able to put a little bit more weight back on. And so the thing is, like, if I go to the gym, before I was teaching, like when I would go to the gym like 3-4 times a week, and I was putting on more muscle mass, even with a diet. And now it's a lot harder to do that when I'm a teacher because I just have less time. And I don't know if you remember, but I've been doing the languages. I do the languages for fun. And so that takes up a lot of time as well. I take classes online with native speakers and study vocab and all that stuff. And so it's like something's got to give, or I'm going to be like extremely exhausted every single day. And that's just not good for my mental. So,
Right.
I think you know what I'm trying to say.
I wanted to touch on that too. And I know I said this was crazy eating fast food every day, but I'm not telling anybody to do that. I think that's like absolutely the wrong thing to do. But I want to say that I've been eating the same things every day too, like the exact same thing that I figured out doesn't exuberate the odor. So just touching on what Elijah said, he figured out X, Y, and Z is okay for him to eat. I figured out X, Y, and Z is okay for me to eat too. And everybody has to do that. You have to figure out what foods trigger you, because there's a lot of people too that'll be like, oh, you have to be vegan. Meat is what's doing it. Or you have to do keto because carbs are what doing it. You have to figure out what it is that your body is not processing right and avoid that yourself. It's going to be different for Jermaine. It's going to be different for Elijah. It's going to be different for Javier. It's going to be different for me.
Yeah.
So you have to pay real strict attention to your diet and introduce one or two things at a time so that you can observe, like, okay, I ate scrambled eggs and I got hella reactions. But when I ate this gluten, I really didn't get reactions. Everybody has to do that.
Yeah.
That's all I
Yeah.
want to say.
I wanted to add one quick thing, Jermaine. So like the thing is like we all have similar symptoms, and the thing is like if you think about actual illnesses in the world, so like a cold, flu, COVID, all these things have very very similar symptoms, but they all have very different causes. And it's the same thing with this community. You know, our symptoms are just very different from your classic cold or sore throat or influenza or whatever it is. And so for us, just like Bruce was saying, um, we're gonna have to find our own foods for our own treatment. So just like with a cold, you can't treat like um, diseases the same necessarily just because they have the same symptoms because there's different causes for it. So I definitely
Exactly.
think kind of similar here with the condition here. So we have similar symptoms, but like the cause may be a little bit different.
Yeah, because that's the thing. When you were talking about gluten, I never felt like gluten affected me. And I know I sometimes I read these comments and they'll tell you to stay away from gluten, stay away from that, say that, oh no, it's only sugar, and that's also something that affects me. But you know, hearing Bruce Leroy, just it's just wild to say, oh, I just eat the same fast food every day, and then shit don't really affect me like that. I don't know. I think that's funny as hell, to be honest. But yeah, you figured it out, and I think that's interesting. I don't know if you can detect. Can you detect your odor, Bruce? No, right? You can't.
But the only time, no, I figured something out with that too. If I take biofilm busters, the biofilm disruptors, then I can smell myself.
Biofilm
And
disrupt that.
yep, I don't know if it clears something out in my nose or what, but
What's the name
I
of it?
found one called
Biofilm disruptors.
there's one brand that's real good that's called Interphase. That's what I bought. It's like $25 on Amazon. And I bought it for just a different reason. And I maybe like 3 days into it, I noticed that I could pick up my odor. It always start around the same time every day when I'd start sweating at work. And I literally could pick up my odor. And then whenever I finished that bottle, I couldn't smell it anymore. So whatever it cleared out in my nose, I think it's killing the candida in my nose or something because my whole nose would my airways would open up and I could smell everything. It wasn't just me picking up me, I could smell everything. And on a day-to-day basis, my sense of smell is pretty bad.
I have never heard of biofilm disruptors. And what was it? It was called interphase or something.
Interface. They have interface and then they have interface plus. I just bought the regular one. And
Wait, where did you learn this?
it's supposed to help clear out uh the biofilm that the bad bacteria has. And I guess this is just me bro sciencing and theorizing that it cleared out whatever biofilm was in my nose long enough for my nose to get my sense of smell back. And then when I stopped, since I was still eating sugar and gluten and stuff, all that stuff grew right back.
Yeah, one
That's
thing
crazy.
I know I heard about the biofilm disruptors too. They talk about them in the Gut War Discord. I always hear people recommending them. But it's interesting that you say that because whenever I use like a very strong mouthwash, like about an hour or two later, if I walk outside and the breeze hits me, I smell the shit. I could smell it, and it's
It's
strong.
it's that it's killing you're killing off all the bacteria when you use mouthwash. You're
Yeah,
killing everything, the good and the bad. So then what happens is the bad grows back first. That's
yeah.
all that is.
I don't know what it is, but I every time I do that, I'm like, damn, this is what people smell. That I understand why they're tripping on me being around. Cause fuck,
I
it's strong
I
as
would
hell.
suggest they've got oral probiotics that you can it's like a
Yeah,
lozenge.
yeah. I bought those
I would
before.
suggest brush and then use the mouthwash and then take the probiotic after so that
Yeah.
you didn't kill everything?
Yeah, I've tried everything, bro. I tried it that way. I tried it just eating the probiotics, and I mean, not brushing my teeth and just the
Were you
probiotics. I
were
tried
you
like I
still
tried doing antibiotics, then the
were
probiotics.
you,
Like,
Oh, don't do
were you
antibiotics.
still eating sugar?
no, I was drinking water for a long time, and what's weird is that if I drink a bottle of water, like people that weren't reacting to me, all of a sudden will start reacting. I don't know why, but so yeah,
I've noticed that
I'm a
too.
special case. But like, here's the other thing with like what Elijah and everybody is like saying that like, you gotta try a diet and this and that. Like some of us, like some people legit have TMAU or a TMAU like disease, and some of us like have something totally different
Yeah.
that changing your diet
That's
is
that's
not
true.
going to do anything for you. So like that's
Well,
that's what I got in arguments with people that like in the discords and stuff, like where they kind of beat you up because you're not doing a diet or because you're not they're
it
like, oh,
does
you're not trying anymore. Like,
it
brother,
does all stem from diet though.
well,
It's just still a different diet related disease, because if it wasn't, then we wouldn't all be able to figure out certain triggers with it. It might
yeah,
not be
but
T-mal, but you might have SIBO. It might not be SIBO, but you might have a candida overgrowth. It's still a diet related disease, but that's why I was saying you can't say it's specifically keto will fix it, or specifically vegan will fix it, or
yeah,
specifically low FODMAP will fix it. You have to figure out what triggers are setting you off, and then research that and figure out, well, maybe I have SIBO, or maybe I have candida, or maybe I have this, or maybe I have that. But
yeah,
the main thing is your triggers, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to be eating fast food, the same fast food every day, and my reactions are way less than when I'm eating a perfect diet with probiotics and all of this.
yeah. No, I understand, but like what I'm trying to say is that everybody not everybody's the same. Like, and actually, if you read about the TMAU, if you study on some of the TMAU stuff, like most people with TMAU do not have a severe odor. Like they don't have, like, my odor is very very severe, and from what I've read, people with TMAU, that most of the cases that have been studied are mild. So like, um, so how can I relate to someone with TMAU? Like, they tell a story like, yeah, man, I just stopped eating fish and I'm okay. Like, well, yeah, bro, that's unfortunately that's not me. Like I stink really bad regardless of what I eat or
What
what I drink, and it's
what
just like,
what I think what I think with that, when the ones they say they just stopped eating one thing, is
yeah,
that they stopped eating the thing that was causing it quick enough to where their body corrected everything before it just got all the way off track. Some of us are like, that's why I
yeah.
don't really trip about fast food, because I know my body is literally all the way off track.
Hey,
If I
you don't mind us telling what fast food are you eating? Like, what
I
is it?
have McDonald's every day, bro.
McDonald's.
I
Okay,
literally eat McDonald's.
damn,
I eat
you.
McDonald's. Yeah. Now I'm not eating the sweets
What,
and cookies and stuff. I'm
what
getting
are
a
you getting?
hamburger.
Okay, which
I'm getting
one?
a hamburger. I'm not just the regular. I'll
Big
say
Mac?
McDouble without onions. I'll tell them without onions and without pickles, and
Okay.
without cheese or whatever.
And are you eating
And
the
I'll eat like,
fries?
no, I don't eat fries.
Okay.
I don't
Damn,
even
why
really
go to
like fries.
McDonald's? You're not gonna eat fries. Shit.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I don't
true.
really. You know what? I've heard that even before this, I heard that the fries are the absolute worst thing that you can order, because
Really?
it's,
Health wise.
yeah, because of the oil and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
okay. I thought you were talking about just by taste. Of course. I mean, yeah, it's
Oh,
fried.
no, no,
Anything
not
fried is
not
gonna
by
taste.
taste, but just by what it is for your body. You know what I'm saying? And
I
I
heard
think
the fries nuggets.
because I'm basically eating meat and then some gluten, but I'm not eating all the, like, onions would probably give me an extra odor. The sugar and stuff, like if I was getting the cinnamon roll or whatever that all that is, it'll probably give me an extra odor. Um, I haven't tried chicken, but I don't think that the meat itself is going to give me a bad odor, whether I go cook a chicken breast or I get a chicken breast from in a sandwich from Wendy's or something. You know, do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, I did want to say this to stop just a little bit because Dave just hopped in. I'm not too familiar with you, but yeah, I would just want you to introduce yourself. How's your week? I know with this current conversation, we're talking about like food, certain triggers. Has there been any type of triggers for you, or have you noticed any triggers that made it worse, or is your odor not related to diet?
To be honest with you, I think it is related to diet, but going back to what Elijah said in the beginning, I think anxiety really makes my odor worse. Now I'm able to work from home. I noticed that my odor is like really reduced lately, just because I'm less anxiety. I'm less
Mm,
anxious. So it really has a lot to do with being around other people during certain times of the day. Um, yeah, and just being in public. But when I'm at home, I'm chill. Like, to be
yeah.
honest with you. So also I don't take anything, like I'm not on any type of diets or supplements. Prefer like messed me up.
Re-
um,
Is
yeah,
it the store bought, or are you talking about like?
store
'Cause
bought,
that's the
like,
thing. I keep asking store bought or homemade because
yeah,
I know with homemade that shit it just didn't work out. It's like I felt
yeah,
like I was getting all warm inside. Like I had this warm sensation all around my body. But I always thought like it was like because I didn't
Oh my.
do the kefir or the fermentation properly. That's
yeah,
why I smelled. But yeah, you said store bought.
yeah, store bought. I forgot the brand, but yeah, that didn't work. Took it for about 6 months, and that whole 6 months it made my odor like 10 times worse. Everything I've taken for TMAU has made my odor worse. So literally right now I'm not on any type of TMAU diet. I'm not on any type of supplement. And to be honest with you, I think it's improved. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, like how many of us are on supplements? Because I'm with Dave. Like I ain't on any supplements. I
yeah.
will say though, real quick, I did try chlorophyll pills, and it was not good, bro. It was it was not a good
Wow,
experience.
really?
So for
I have
me,
positive experience. Oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna
Chlorophyll
say
made me smell manure.
chlorophyll made you
That's
smell
what my
like what?
coworkers said. My coworkers, so at first they were saying shit, and then I started trying to take the chlorophyll, and then one of them said manure, and it just made me think of, okay, so a fucking a cow is eating grass all day, it just mixed that with the smell.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, that's right. Makes
shit.
sense.
So
Actually,
you,
with
Chlorophyll
chlorophyll,
actually smells like manure a little bit.
yeah, it smells funny.
Yeah.
it does have a distinct smell, but I know that with
That's a weird
chlorophyll you
smell.
can also get like mint
It smells
chlorophyll.
like
So I'm
grassy,
curious.
like dying grass or something.
Dying grass.
Oh,
I
dying
mean,
grass has a smell. It's one of the worst smells.
yeah, cut grass or I don't
Yeah,
know, something like that.
like leaves that are been rotting. Yeah, those stink.
Oh yeah, yeah. I heard some people like the lawnmower smell. So like when I had that, when I stopped the kefir, and I was going through that, I was like, it's not so bad, but we'll see what happens. I heard some people like cut grass.
So funny that you're talking about like the smell of grass, or you had a grass smell, because I've heard that before too. Someone has like a grassy smell, like someone just cut the grass, or you've been outside or some shit like that type of smell. So that's interesting. Um, but
Yeah,
I
I've
also
heard that
want,
too. Like I've heard that smell like seawater. Like,
ooh, okay.
yeah, like some
Seawater.
weird, yeah, like some
Yeah.
weird ocean type of smell.
Like a
Yeah.
marsh.
I've
Kind of.
gotten mildew and
Yeah,
weed. I got weed last week, and I don't smoke at all. I don't partake.
Yeah.
I
But
I had the weed one on the pits for a little bit too, but I think it was because of a certain scented deodorant that I was using.
Hey, but to
Bro,
you guys,
I'm-
does weed not smell like shit sometimes? Or is that just
it's
It
me?
does,
pungent.
like,
it smells like skunk to me.
Yeah, like some weeds
Skunk
have
and
like a bad odor. Like I like weed smell, but sometimes they smell like shit or like I don't
yeah.
know, bad.
I'm gonna keep it real. Like my armpits always smell like weed. He's either weed or mustiness. So I don't know. Like,
Hey, you know what?
but
Same here. Same here. I can actually smell my armpits.
yeah, and that's another thing that's so weird about this condition. Like I can't smell this undetectable odor, but I can still smell like the other parts, like my underarms or your groin or some shit, and it smells musty or whatever. But I can't smell this odor that people say smells like ass or shit or whatever. I mean, I know
Oh,
since you guys are talking about like the different odors someone described as, I do remember sometime I overheard someone said when I was actually in college that smelled like a burning tire or some shit like that, like
yeah.
some crazy shit. So
And the
I don't
tire
know.
one too. I've gotten burning
Yeah,
rubber before.
burning
Oh,
rubber, burning tire. It's just weird.
you know,
And
speaking. Go ahead.
no, you go. I was already
Oh,
talking. I
I was
mean,
gonna. No, my bad.
go ahead. You
Oh,
got it.
speaking of like odors and being able to smell them, so I ordered scato online. I don't know if you guys know what scato is.
What is that?
Scato is like the odor of shit. That's what like they attribute the shit odor to. Scato, it's a molecule.
So
So
you ordered shit
no, you don't
molecule?
order shit. That's it's a chemical. Part of the reason why your shit smells like shit is because of scato. It's a
Mm-hmm.
chemical.
Okay.
They sell it on Amazon. It's not. It's a color is pink and it has. There's no shit. They use a special like chemical process to produce it. It's not produced by like grabbing shit and then extracting it or nothing like that.
So you
So
ordered chemicals that smell like shit.
I ordered
Okay.
scato, which is like one of the main contributors to the shit smell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason why I ordered it was because I wanted to see if I could detect it. And my logic behind that was if I can't detect it, then it must be what I smell like because I can't smell what I what the people complain about. I can't smell it. I can't smell my own bad breath. So my theory was if I can't smell scato, then scato must be what the shit smell that I'm emitting. So I ordered it and I got it through the mail and I cannot smell it. I cannot smell scato. And I've had my
That's
the person
crazy.
the person that I'm living with, I had them smell it. Oh man, they were so like bothered by it and annoyed that I had it in the house. They told me to get rid of it and they were so mad that I made them smell it. Like they could. Oh man, it was crazy. And to me, it didn't smell like anything, dude. It was weird.
Wow.
So that was just my own test of if my
What
idea.
did you? Where did you order it at? I'm
It's on
curious about that now.
it's on Amazon. You could order it right now on Amazon. It's like $20 or something. It comes in a bottle. It's safe. It's not like a dangerous chemical that's gonna make you sick if you smell it or if you touch it. But yeah, it's available on just Google scato. Just put it on Amazon. SKATOLE. Scato.
I think
And
that's I think that's when they have those gag poop smell sprays that people
I
like do videos and stuff about. I think that's what they use
no,
to make that.
for that one, I think they use some sulfur based smell. This isn't so scato doesn't have any sulfur compounds in it, but it's yeah, it's I also ordered indole. Indole's another fecal
yeah,
odor.
I heard Indo.
And I could smell indole. The indole pills that I bought, I could smell them, and it smells like shit. I could detect those, but I cannot detect scato.
Yeah, I
There's so
think that's
many.
in broccoli.
Do you think that's what?
The Inidol is in broccoli.
Yeah. It's in a lot of foods. Corn, I
Yeah,
think, also has it.
you have so much interesting stories because now my thought process is what motivated you to just get the scatol chemical?
Well, that's what
What
I'm trying
was?
to explain. Is like, okay, the theory is this: we can detect our smell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but okay, so I could smell shit. Like if someone goes to the bathroom and takes a shit, I could smell what to me smells like shit, right?
Right.
Like, so my theory is okay. So what if I can't smell my odor, it must be an odor that I cannot pick up. So let's say they sell these odors. Scatol is one of them. I order that. Oh, I can't smell it. Well, maybe it's a high probability that that's the odor that I'm emitting because it's an odor that smells like shit, but that I can't smell.
No,
Just like
that's actually smart.
yeah. So
That
that
makes
was
that makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
it makes sense. I just like I would never think about doing any of that
Well,
shit. So I'm like,
okay, this goes back to the whole situation, dude. The doctors are no help.
right.
There's zero help, bro. Like we have to diagnose ourselves. It's so sad. It
Yeah.
sucks. Like I'm not doing this because I want to smell chemicals. I'm
Yeah,
doing this
yeah.
because I've gone to doctors and none of them could help diagnose me, dude. So I have to try to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
that's right.
it's not because I'm trying to be smart or whatever. I'm just like, I don't I just had to try to diagnose this odor myself because there's no other way to do it. The things that the breath the what do you call it, halometers and all those things, they're very expensive. Like we can't afford that. Those are like $5,000 meters, and then I don't know any doctor that has them. And the people that have gone to those doctors, I think you just interviewed somebody that said that, like they got hustled through the halometer, like they were,
Yeah.
like
Um
might have been Dave. It sounds like Dave. Forgot who it
um
was. You just recently interviewed him.
yeah. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Jesus Christ.
What do you
Can't
say?
believe I'm no, that's not him. That's not him.
It was
Damn.
very recent. It was like
Yeah, and I'm just going through my emails. I'm trying to find the exact name too.
I could find through your video list.
But no, but the point, yeah, I did find that really fascinating.
Yeah,
That you do the Scotto thing because now I'm like, because the biofilm thing, I think I want to try that. I really want to try that because I'm really curious how good or bad I smell. The Scotto thing, if the biofilm thing doesn't work out, yeah. And by the way, Bruce, could you like email me that exact product name because I'm really interested in just buying that. But I also wanted to say this too. Um, there was a number of different questions the chat had, and I wanted to actually ask ask the questions to every one of you. I know one of them said something about family members and how family members react. I'm trying to find the exact
Yeah,
thing.
I saw that one. It was from Beautiful Brown something at the beginning, towards the beginning.
Yeah,
Um, or no, it's actually in the middle. So I was gonna say something about that earlier, but I didn't want to cut anybody off. My brother actually, he has something like this. I am pretty sure. I have two brothers, so one's in college. I just graduated from college, so I have another one that's in college right now still, and another one who's probably the sufferer. He's in high school, about to be a senior next year, and then I have a sister who's in 5th grade. Um, and so the one in high school, I can detect. I can definitely detect, and I've
that's
seen good.
interesting.
It is. It really is. And there's been good days and bad days with him, and I think he knows something is up. Um, but I notice like days where when he eats certain foods, it's worse than other days, and it's often switched. So like I mean the type of odor. So it used to be like a very sweet smell. Like you would notice it within, let's say he just came home from school or whatever, like it would be within 10 minutes, it would be through the vents. Like you could smell it. Or at least I could, you know, and it was a very sickening, sweet smell. Um, and it was just nasty to me. Um,
Hmm.
and that's the one that he used to have a lot. I think that's when he would eat or he would drink a lot of milk. I think I know he eats just junk. He eats. I'm talking Pop Tarts, sugary stuff, cake and stuff. Now, recently he hasn't so much. He still eats junk, but it's not to the same level. So he doesn't have as many days where I can detect it. And that's not to say he don't have anything going on, but I myself can't detect it. Um, Now he still
Mhm.
lives a normal life. He's popular. He's got a lot of friends. He's got a girlfriend. He's got he's got a lot of good stuff going on. He does sports, but I've still seen like when I've seen like when friends drop him off or something, like the windows roll down and it's like 30 degrees out. It's like, why would you have the window roll down when it's 30 degrees? So things like that, you and I and everyone else here would kind of, you know, pick up hints on stuff like that. And I guess it's just like with him, I think he has something similar to what we have. Um, but I haven't talked to him about it or nothing like that. But
Wow,
I can see,
really?
yeah, he's 17, about 17. Yeah. But it's weird because like some days where he's gone all day, then I'll pick him up or something and it don't smell anything. But then other times it's like right off the bat. So I don't, like I said, I don't keep track of what he eats,
Right.
but I can detect it some days. Yeah.
Well, I know you. Well, I would assume that you had like a lot of anxiety. Did it really affect you in high school? I think it got really worse in college, right? And
Um, it was I first noticed it in sophomore year, and then it kind of went away for a little bit, or I just stopped focusing on it. I don't know which one it was. Could have been a mix of both. But for like from 11th grade all the way to like maybe like freshman in college, it went away, and then it started to come back when I started to notice it more. So um, yeah, and it got really bad when I started trying the kefir and stuff like that, and then it started to die down a little bit. I feel like at the stage I'm at right now with it is kind of like the same stage I was before when it quote unquote went away. You know what I mean? And the
Mhm.
reason is because of like what Bruce was saying earlier, like you don't you tend to stop caring as much at some point, but you don't let those reactions also dictate your day, because if you do, your anxiety levels are going to go up tremendously, which
Yeah.
your sweat pores are going to start opening up whether you feel it or not. You won't realize it, and that makes easy access for the odor to escape. So um, that's just my point of view on it.
Yeah, but I find the conversation you were talking about with your brother, you never thought to yourself to try to, hey, hey, you sort of smell sort of weird or something like that. And I think it has something to do with the food you're eating. You never try to
I've
have that.
thrown See, that's the thing too, because now, people like you and I, we wonder, like, why don't quote unquote normal people who don't have this say anything to us? It's a very uncomfortable place to
Conversation.
put yourself in. Yeah, it is. It's like in society, like, nobody wants to have to say anything to someone. And I've said it to him like, hey man, smells. I tell him that many times. And it's the same thing, like it's the same sort of reaction that everyone has. It's a very defensive, why are you attacking me sort of deal, or like get out of here.
Mm,
It's like it's from a bad place. And no one wants no one wants, and there's no good way to tell someone that, hey bro, you stink. You know what I mean? You could try to be as positive as you want, but at the end of the day, it's not a positive thing to tell somebody.
right.
And so a lot of people, they're just gonna assume that you're just being super disrespectful or whatever, and they're gonna attack you for it. So you have to put yourself in their shoes as well. Yeah, sure, they're being mean about it, probably because they think if you tell them something, you're gonna react a certain way, you know? And maybe not, but it's just like that's just how it is in society. You tell someone they stink, they're gonna get super pissed at you, or they're gonna deny it, and they're gonna hate you, and like no one wants to put themselves in those positions.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. But another thing I'm thinking to myself is, isn't there like a way you can say it, or at least say, speak to them, say, hey, if you're ever going through something and you need someone to talk to, I'm here. Just to open, I guess, opening up. Maybe they're not going to talk to you about the odor, but at least I know for me, well, you're saying with your brother, he's like really popular in high school, so maybe he's not going through the same type of anxiety I had. But I know it was like really hard for me within high school and in college. And so not being able to talk to somebody about it made me feel like, made me, I guess, made it even
Yeah.
more hard. So I was thinking to myself, like, couldn't you just do it that way? So if he does feel like, oh, I have no one to talk to, I can just easily talk to my brother because he's a lending ear to whatever.
Yeah, I kind of watch it, like, seeing how he is. Like, if he's like a visibly depressed person out of nowhere, and it's like for not just like a day or two, like it's not just like an off day, like it's a thing. Maybe that would be a time to open up about that. But I don't want to, like, I don't know. I'm just here's the thing, like, I'm just thinking back on myself, like, before I was super aware about these things, and before I actually tried to research all this stuff, it wasn't that big of a deal in my life. You know what I mean? It really wasn't. And then it's like, once you see all this stuff and you do all this research, it's almost like there's no going back. You know what I mean? Like, your perception on this is going to change forever. And I don't want to kind of taint his vision of life yet. I mean, he's very young.
Okay.
He's 17. And so there's another way of looking at it from that perspective. But I'm not, you could see from multiple perspectives. You could say, hey, I'm kind of doing him a favor of saving him the anxiety about this and that. But I do throw hints like, hey, you ever eat healthier or whatever, or try eating some fruit. He tells me I eat like a rabbit because I eat like fruits and veggies, but it's like in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, maybe you should be too, for whatever reason. But I don't know. He's not eating a lot of junk like he used to. He still eats junk, so and he seems like his life's going well. So I haven't mentioned it to him yet, but I'm kind of like watching it,
Okay. All right. Well, I do want to ask you, Javier, like your experiences with family. Do they detected? What were the general experiences that you had?
So hold on. I gotta turn down this game real quick. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Value mixer. Turn this down. Okay. So they detect me, but they never admit it. So it's kind of pointless to like speak about it with them. It just leads to like more conflict and more like resentment towards them. So I don't even bring it up anymore, and I just deal with this myself. I don't know. Yeah, I don't count on them to console me or to help me in any way. I just deal with all my emotions and everything on my own.
Jesus.
And yeah, it sucks, but like that's how they are. So, and I've talked to them. I've told them, like I would appreciate if you help me. Like if you, like even if you listen to the TMAU research scientists or whatever, they talk about having an odor buddy, which is basically like someone that could detect your smell.
Right.
They could tell you like, hey, you smell worse today. You smell better. Like, so you get a hint as to what is helping and what isn't. But yeah, I can't find an odor buddy.
Yeah.
You would think that your family would be like the easiest way, but it seems like they're the ones.
You live in LA, right?
Yeah, I live in LA.
Bro, I know there's a lot of people that live in LA that have this. I think I just spoke to at least like two other people, but maybe it was years ago. But
might have been I might have been one of the persons, and the other person who knows who it was. But on Discord, I've met people that like that's I think they're from Cali, not from LA, but they rarely want to meet, And then it's always like, no offense to the people that aren't really like being affected by this, but like a lot of the people, they seem to have mild cases of it. So like, yes, it bothers their life, but they're not really concerned about it like I am or whatever. So I can't see them like wanting to meet up and smell each other and all that.
There's only one problem with that, Jermaine. I met somebody that was suffering. I met one person, and neither one of us could detect each other.
Yeah.
But the whole time, the whole time that we were together, everyone else was reacting and coughing because we had stopped at IHOP and got some food.
Oh,
Um,
that's funny.
and then went through the park after that, and people were reacting the whole time. But I literally 100% promise to God could not smell anything off of her, and I believe her tell me she couldn't smell me, and other people have said the same thing.
Yes, I had the
Whatever the,
same experience.
whatever the odor is, we can't detect it on each other.
Yeah,
It-
but
yeah.
the reason why I was just like mentioning about having this odor buddy is, I don't know, you still have someone you can connect with. It's not really to detect the odor, but if you're both going through the same shit, you have at least someone you could talk to or something to hang out with, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah, I
that does
definitely
make
understand where you
sense.
come from.
That
Jermaine,
makes a lot of sense.
I was gonna ask you, what is your opinion on? I was thinking about, you know how you're doing your walks and stuff. You're like videotaping you walking down like the park and stuff like that. I think I seen you do it like twice already.
Mm-hmm.
What is your opinion? Like, let's say if I did that, but in my case, to like videotape the reactions. Like, do you think there's any value in that, or should just not just leave
Yeah.
that alone?
Hell yeah! I mean, I remember there was like some type of video of a little girl who was in a high school, and she decided not to take a bath for 3 days, just so the reactions are going to be at its peak. And I remember it was up on like YouTube, and I was like, I think I even told you about that when we had
Yeah,
an interview.
yeah, we
So yeah,
spoke.
that was like really eye opening. It gives
Yeah,
you like
yeah.
yeah, makes you see it in their viewpoint. So
Because
yeah, it provides a lot of value.
even like within our community, and when I've told people about like the reactions of people like smelling me from outside of my car, like, and from a good distance away from my car, with the windows rolled up, they don't believe me. Even within this community, they're like, nah, you're
I got to keep it
schizo.
real with you. I talked to a number of people, and some people say some wild shit. Like some people say, like, "Ooh, the odor goes through the walls," or they say some shit like, "I remember
No,
talking
no.
to this one woman."
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say this. I remember talking to this one woman, um, and she was telling me that her odor, or people will know her because, like, if she goes to like an airport or some shit, like people will know her based on her odor, and because she also did some type of vlog or something on YouTube. And I'm thinking to myself, like, an airport has like hundreds of people. Like everybody's gonna know you based, even if it was, and she was saying it was a small town, even if it was a small town, like everybody in the airport knows you. That's
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
I can see that
that's the
happening, bro.
paranoia.
I know,
That's
but
the paranoia.
I can see that happening. Like, dude, here's the other thing about this disease. Normal
No,
people. Well, hold on. Let me explain why that could there could be truth to what she's saying. When a normal person is around other people, right? They don't smell. The
right.
other people might not notice them, might not even realize that person was next to them because they never speak to him, they never acknowledge him in life. They'll never realize that person was there in their classroom or whatever situation. But if you stink, even if you don't speak to those people that are next to you, they're gonna remember you, homie. Like they're gonna remember your stinky ass, dog. Like that's very memorable. There ain't
I
no
think they'll
fucking
remember the smell, but I don't think
yeah,
they remember the person.
no. Well, if it's strong enough, you probably remember the person, and then because
no,
you're also affecting people that you're not even speaking to, that you're not even having a conversation with. They're
you're
sitting
not.
next to you, or whatever. You're affecting them, and you might
You're
not
not a.
realize. Yes, you are. You stink. What do you mean you're not
Well,
affecting them?
here's the thing. I think a little bit of information that I sort of left out or forgot to mention. She wasn't just saying about like an airport. It was just anywhere from.
Paranoia.
So it's
I s-
like she felt that wherever she went, people will recognize her based on some vlog she made years back,
Oh, based off the
Not
blog
talking
or
about
based
her
off the
odor.
odor?
for sure.
So,
I
like, that's what I'm saying. I do understand what you mean. Like, okay, because we tend to remember things based on
Smell.
smell or
Yeah, smell is a
taste or
powerful.
visuals. I get
Yeah.
that point, but when you're saying, "Oh, I can't even go to this place because they're gonna recognize me," I know they know me. It's like, How do you know that hundreds of people know you based off? So you know for a fact 100 people saw you on a video
Oh
that you
no,
just
no,
made
no,
years
no,
ago about
no,
talking
no, no,
about your odor.
no,
That
no, no. That's not what I
doesn't.
meant. That's not what I meant. I said like
Well,
if you.
that's what I was trying to say.
Oh my
I
bad.
understand what you mean.
Yeah, I get what you're saying now. That's like you're saying like she
That's
has
the
other
highest level of
of
paranoia.
paranoia. She has like another level of schizophrenia.
I wouldn't say she's schizophrenic. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, because with this condition, if you never know and you don't have anybody to talk to about it, like,
Yeah.
that paranoia is going to keep going,
Yeah.
and it's never going to get in check.
And
And
that
shit, I get paranoid all the fucking time. I'm not gonna lie.
that
It's never went to that level.
comments
You-
like
you know.
comments like that could be like a sign that maybe this person doesn't actually smell, but they read into things so much and become obsessed with it that they start to believe things like that. So like she apart from thinking she stinks, she thinks that people will recognize her at a random airport. Her little vlog that probably few people saw, like, yeah, that's already like a sign of a mental illness. No normal person should believe that.
You
So
And
you
that's
can get to that point if you focus on it too much. I had got to that, not to the level where Jermaine was explaining, but I got to a point to where anytime anybody whispered something in my head, I heard them whispering, "Oh, he smells like shit," or "He stinks," or this or
that
that.
still happens.
You
To
will
me.
make yourself believe stuff that people are not even saying if you focus on it too much. Now, I'm not saying that the comments aren't real, because there are days that we just know for sure this person said this in front of everybody. But there's also days if you just sit and dwell on it all the time, you will start to make up stuff in your head before they even get out what they're saying.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
also real quick, how many times have you like thought someone said something about you, and then turns out like you overheard them again and they weren't even talking on the same subject, or it was like you
Exactly.
misunderstood what you thought was, back talk. Like I'm sure that happens quite a bit. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really
Your
tricky.
your brain will fill in what you're already thinking about, thinking that they're gonna.
Exactly.
You're already walking up to them thinking like, you're looking at their mask, you're looking at their hands to see if it goes to their nose, and you're like waiting to hear what they say. You're already expecting them to say that you smell a certain way, and then they say something, and you just put that in there regardless of what they say. If you focus on it too much, that's what I'm saying. You gotta get out and live life and not be too focused on, like, I'm focused on it to an extent, just to the extent of, can I see myself, do I stink today? Once I see somebody's reacting in a way that I know, okay, it's me, then I just let it go. I'm not sitting there dwelling on, oh, this person said I smell like this person said this person did this, and the next time I see him at work, they're going to tell everybody, so I'm going to worry. I don't get into it that much.
Hmm.
Yeah, you
And
said it perfectly. Your mind fills in the blanks, man, and that happens to me so much. And I guess it's because I had it so long, it just happens naturally. Like when I'm walking and I'm like anxious, or I'm like let's say I'm like walking outside and I'm sweating and stuff. Like I guess I'm expecting to hear something, and if I hear someone walk past me and they murmur in a certain way that sounded like they said I smell like shit, oh, my anxiety goes up, and I'm trying to like talk myself. I'm trying because I'm like rational. I try to rationalize it. Nah, that can't make sense. I gotta wait till I see better evidence of me smelling bad. But that shit still
Exactly.
happens to me. I'm not gonna lie.
so back to the thing. So you do think that there's value in like showing that evidence, like, look, here's this person reacting to me like this throughout my day, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
But
it will validate your experience, your actual experience. Because if you say this to if you talk to a normal person about this condition, they'll think you're crazy. How can you smell bad, but you can't smell yourself, and I can't smell you either? That was like the first conversation I had with my mother. She would say that when I was like in high school, and I was starting to see reactions like, I don't smell anything, you don't smell anything, so how can you say you smell? So when you have visual evidence that this actually occurs, they can't say anything about it. It's like the proof is in the pudding,
I will say real quick, that it depends on what your goal is with that, Javier. So like if you're just doing that to prove to other people, like, hey, look, I actually do have this experience in my life, and I go through this. Like, I'm sure they already can detect you, you know what I mean? And they're just lying
Yeah.
and whatever, and they're gonna just further deny it, or say, hey, you know what, it could have been this or that, and then it's gonna drive you to the point of doing something else to even prove to yourself or to show proof to that person to get them to admit it. So you're seeking their validation to say, yes, I agree with you. This is what you're going through, and I don't know if it's super beneficial because you already know what's going on and you don't have
Yeah.
to prove it to yourself. You know what I mean? And you don't have to prove it to others. They're not there to help you. So let's say you do show them that video, whatever. What are they gonna say? Like they're gonna either say no, like whatever, and make it up, which is gonna drive you crazy, or they're gonna say yes, I agree with you. But are they gonna offer you a solution? Because at this
Mhm.
point, you should be looking for a solution, not further going down that path of paranoia. Um,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
so, yeah, if you're
It's a
trying to,
deep, a deep
the
rabbit
game,
hole.
and yeah, real quick, your goal, and I mean, this is just what I think should be, because I used to be somewhat similar as far as my thought process as to where you're at right now. Once I started to kind of let go and just not go down, not continue to go down that rabbit hole of research and this and that, things started to turn up and become better. So that is the complete opposite of getting out of that rabbit hole. If you're going to be making videos and stuff and trying to prove to people about this and that, um, if that's your goal, of course, it's
Yeah.
not what you want to do. But I mean, like I said, to each their own.
No. I mean, I. That's why I asked you guys' opinion because I feel like it's good proof, but at the same time, like you're saying, it's gonna drive. It could drive me into like further fucking insanity. You know, like focusing now. I'm like, did I get that on video? And then
Mm.
I can see myself obsessing over it, and then I can see like if I post it, and then it's a troll wants to troll me. You could be like, nah, man, I don't see no reactions. Just further like mush up my brain further. You know, like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe bringing those videos to light might like get someone to like see that a researcher or somebody with money and be like, oh, you know that this is a real
There's a
disease.
lot of there's a lot of those videos already online too.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that's the one Jermaine was talking about. One I know which one he's talking about. Um,
There's quite a few.
yeah,
Just FYI.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I might do it. I also don't feel comfortable with that. You know, I feel like you're almost like an undercover cop and shit, filming people. Like I'm not cool with that either. That's kind of awkward, but
Yeah, yeah. Even when I do it, like I'm just pulling out a phone and shit and recording, and people are looking at me weird. Yeah, but I just do
yeah.
it for just to show that I'm out and doing some stuff. I did want to. We never got to Dave or Bruce in terms of talking about the experiences they had dealing with family and friends. So, Dave, how do you feel? And I still think that's the strangest thing with Elijah. I mean, I've never heard someone say that their sibling also
Yeah, it's
had
only
this.
him. It's not my sister or my other brother. I mean, my mom, when she goes outside, she comes in, she's got some like dry sweat odor, but I don't think it's quite the same deal, you know.
Yeah, yeah. That's so
But the fact that
fascinating.
he's not depressed and he's living life, I mean, there'll be really no reason to tell him anything, to be honest.
Exactly. I'm just waiting for it. Like if he gets depressed or whatever, and I see things are going south, I might say something.
But going back to you, Dave, like, what is your experience?
But like with family members and
Yeah, family members.
yeah, I mean, family members, they obviously give me reactions. They don't say anything. And I don't really see any reason of telling them. They're not really going to help me. They can't. Um,
Mm.
there's one friend that actually knows I have TMAU. I told him all about it, and he admitted to me. He was like, "Yeah, like I did notice something a couple years ago, but I didn't want to say anything." Um,
Mm.
but yeah, he's aware I have TMAU. We joke about it all the time.
Man.
But yeah, as far as family, I think they know what I have. To be honest with you, um, my mom's a nurse, my dad's a doctor, So I feel like they have some type of clue. They probably just don't want to say anything. So yeah, that's pretty much about it with family members. Acquaintances, friends, like other friends apart from the other friend I told, I don't really say anything. You know, if they give me reactions, oh well.
For what I remember, you don't really stick to a diet. You just eat whatever you want. At least
Yeah, well, for the past 6 months, literally I just been eating whatever I want. But I don't like eat fast food or anything like that. Like I'll make my own food at home. But yeah, try to stay away from red meat just in general. But sometimes I eat it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Bruce?
Man, I think the family that you're real close to, like if you live in the same house with them, I think they just get nose blind to it,
Yeah.
honestly. And my other theory is that maybe depending on who it is, because I remember this too. This was years before I had any inclination of having this. I didn't get reactions. Nobody said I smelled bad. People said I smelled good. There was a point that my mom had this real weird odor. It wasn't shit, but it was just like something that I could not put my finger on. And it'd be here and there. I'd say for like a year. And then it just went away. And the only family members that I've just came out with and asked was my mom and my dad. And my dad, he said he couldn't smell me. My mom, she said she couldn't smell me. And she swears up and down she can't smell me. So I don't know if it's they both just got nose blind to it, or if my mom was the carrier of it. And because of that, she couldn't pick it up. Because I do remember she had some I don't even know how to describe the smell. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
It just
must, it wasn't. It was just something real weird. And it went away. She had it for a little bit, and then at a certain point I just never smelt her like that anymore. And I don't know if that means that's when I was getting it, and that's why I stopped being able to smell her. But whenever I ask her about it, she seems sincere about it. So she's either nose blind or I got it from her. You know what I'm saying?
that's so interesting.
And not everybody can smell TMAU. There are some people who, even if they're not carriers, they still can't smell it for some reason. So that could be it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I do believe in the idea that some people just have better noses that can pick up certain chemicals than others. So that's why some people are going to react strongly than others. So yeah, I definitely agree with all of that. I do want to say this, man. I was only going to do 2 hours. It is 2 hours at the moment. And I do appreciate all you for just hopping in because I haven't spoke to you guys in a long time. And I thought, I did this Hangout thing some time ago, maybe 2018, 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. But the reason why I stopped was because of a job. So I could do this Hangout thing again. I mean, we don't have to do it every week, maybe every couple of months. I don't know. But yeah, I do appreciate Elijah and Javier for like even talking sort of like, I guess, I don't know, reigniting the idea to do a Hangout because I do think it is helpful. And it was so fascinating to hear all your different perspectives and your stories about what happened or what happened afterwards, after the interview I had with you. The fact that you Elijah is a school teacher, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I recall even hearing anything you going into education, but maybe I was just they just completely forgot. And hearing about Bruce like going into being a delivery driver is fascinating too. I don't know how I'm going to end this. I guess I should try to look at any other comments or questions they might have. Maybe I'll end it that way. Oh yeah, I just see one final one from Sam. She says, do any of you exercise? So let's just go down. I guess this will be the final question, and then we'll just end it. So from Elijah down, Do you exercise routinely to try to eliminate or reduce the odor?
To make a long answer short, I used to do all the running and stuff to sweat it out and all that stuff, but I don't run anymore. I just go on walks here and there, just not for that reason, but just because I like getting outside and just peace of mind, stuff like that. Um, but no, not too much, not too much. But when I have a break, I definitely try to do more weightlifting instead of cardio.
Cool. What about you, Javier?
No, I don't. I don't do any exercise.
No exercise.
No exercise.
What about you, Dave?
Yeah, I go to the gym about 3 to 4 times a week. But to be honest with you, I don't think it makes a difference in my odor at all. Still the same.
All right. And you, Bruce?
Man, that's one thing that I noticed, that it gets the smell out, but at the same time, the whole time that I'm in the gym, my smell is like 10 times. As soon as I start sweating, my smell is like 10 times worse. So
Yeah.
I've started going real late when the gym is not as packed. But yeah, I still exercise about 3 or 4 times a week. But I have noticed it does get whatever that the chemical is, that, at least for me, that's making me smell, their reaction to be down the next day. But right there, immediately after I start sweating, yeah, it's bad.
Actually, you know what I noticed? If I go to the gym in the morning, even after I take a shower, my odor actually gets worse during the day. So I try to go to the gym in the evening.
I think it opens up your pores. That
Mm,
exercise opens up your pores, and it's getting on your skin. So I don't know if
That makes
maybe trying a different soap, or doing like you're doing and going in the evening, like how I am.
Yeah, it's best to go in the evening because if I go in the morning and start my day, no matter what, my odor is gonna be very bad.
that's
So
fascinating because I always do it early in the morning. I work out like at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So maybe I should try to do it evening and see what happens. But yeah, since both of you really believe that doing in the evenings is a little bit better than doing in the mornings.
I just do it just so there's not as many people in the gym.
Mm, okay.
But after I sweat and then get in the shower, and then maybe too, Dave, maybe you could try taking a cold shower after, instead of a warm shower. Because I know
Right.
sometimes just me if I take a hot enough shower to where I'm sweating in the shower, or sweating like right after I got the shower, then it's like I didn't even take a shower.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. I think I have the similar experience. I think, yeah, when you have hot showers or warm showers, it open up your pores more. So whatever that's exuding out of your body, it's now a little bit worse. I don't know, but yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for hopping on, and I appreciate all the commenters or people who viewed it live. So this, I don't know, this is
you
Friday
gotta do
night
this every
hangout,
Friday.
and Robin.
So you have to do this every Friday.
If anybody wants to hang out, you just tell me straight up. I always do it. I mean, I can do it now because there's no previous time I did it is because I had to work Friday night and Saturday night and Sunday night. I could do it, but if anybody wants to hang out with me or wants to do the hangout next week or whatever day, just tell me and I'll try to plan it out, man. Other than that, I see you guys later. I'm gonna end the live stream now.